If you think Valentine's Day began with roses, candlelight dinners, and heart-shaped chocolates, you're wrong. 2,000 years ago, if you walked into Rome in mid-February holding a bouquet of red roses, people wouldn't be planning a romantic dinner. They would be preparing for blood rituals. Welcome to the real history of Valentine's Day. Act 1, Before Love. The Roman festival of Lupercalia. Long before Valentine cards and candy hearts, ancient Rome celebrated a festival called Lupercalia. It began on February 15th. This was not a quiet celebration. It was loud, chaotic. Wild animals, typically goats and dogs, were sacrificed. Priests would cut strips from the hides. Young men would run through the streets, striking women lightly with these strips. Strange? Yes. But at the time, it was believed this ritual promoted fertility and ensured healthy childbirth. Participants feasted, drank,
celebrated wildly. This was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, and possibly to the legendary founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus.
This was February. No roses, no chocolates, no Cupid, just ancient ritual and superstition. So how did we go from this to heart emojis? Act 2, the mystery of Saint Valentine. Here's where things get complicated. No one is entirely sure who Saint Valentine actually was. There may have been more than one. One legend says a Roman priest secretly married couples against the orders of Emperor Claudius II, who believed single men made better soldiers. For defying imperial law, Valentine was executed around 270 CE. Another account describes a bishop in Tournai. Some historians believe these may have been the same person. Adding to the mystery, the Catholic Church removed Saint Valentine from the general Roman calendar in 1969 due to lack of reliable historical evidence, though he remains recognized as a saint. And here's a twist many people don't know. Saint Valentine isn't just the patron saint of lovers. He is also the patron saint of beekeepers and people with epilepsy, romantic and unexpected. 3. The Church steps in. By the 5th century, Christianity was rising across the Roman Empire. The old pagan festival of Lupercalia was still being celebrated, loud, chaotic, and very unchristian. Enter Pope Gelasius I. Looking at the wild fertility rituals, he decided something had to change. Instead of simply banning the festival, he replaced it. February 14th would now honor Saint Valentine. The strategy was brilliant. Erase the pagan chaos. Replace it with a Christian martyr. And just like that, the transformation began. But here's the thing. At this point, Valentine's Day still wasn't about romance. It was simply a feast day for a saint. So who turned it into a love story? Act 4, the poet who made love official. Fast forward to the 14th century. Medieval Europe. Courtly love. Royal politics, arranged marriages. And a poet named Geoffrey Chaucer. In his poem Parliament of Fowls, he wrote, "For this was sent on Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." Translation? On Saint Valentine's Day, birds choose their partners. This was one of the first recorded associations of Valentine's Day with romance. From that poetic moment, something shifted. Love became attached to February 14th, not because of ancient Rome, not because of the saint, but because of literature. Romance was born from poetry, and the idea spread. Act 5, the first Valentine letter. Now let's talk about the first known Valentine. In 1415, Charles, Duke of Orleans, wrote a romantic poem to his wife while imprisoned in the Tower of London. He referred to her as his very gentle Valentine. But historians later found an even earlier love letter from 1477, written by Marjorie Bruce to John Paston, calling him her right well-beloved Valentine. Imagine that, no emojis, no heart reactions, just ink, parchment, and longing. From there, handwritten love notes became tradition among the wealthy. Act 6, when love became a business. By the 19th century, Valentine's Day wasn't just poetry anymore, it was industry. In 1861, the chocolate company Cadbury introduced the first heart-shaped chocolate box. Brilliant marketing. Romantic, reusable, profitable. Around the same time, Esther Howland revolutionized Valentine's cards in America with lace, decorative designs, and mass production. Then in 1913, Hallmark began mass-producing Valentine's cards. Today, an estimated 145 million Valentine's cards are exchanged every year, and spending reaches billions of dollars annually.
Act 7, the dark side of romance. But Valentine's Day wasn't always sweet. In Victorian England, people sent anonymous insulting cards called Vinegar Valentines. Instead of "be mine," they said things like, "Old fellow, you best stop away." Imagine opening your mailbox expecting romance and receiving an insult. Valentine's Day has always had two sides: affection and rejection. Act 8. Cupid wasn't always a baby. Today we picture Cupid as a chubby baby with wings, but originally he was Eros, the powerful Greek god of desire. In ancient Greek mythology, Eros was a handsome, intense deity, not a cartoon mascot. Over centuries, he transformed into the playful cherub we recognize today. Another evolution, another softening of something once powerful and dangerous. Act 9. The body part that controlled love. In the Middle Ages, people didn't believe the heart controlled emotions. They believed it was the liver. Yes, the liver. Romantic heartbreak? Apparently, a liver issue. History is wild. ACT 10, love around the world. Valentine's Day doesn't look the same everywhere. In Japan, women give chocolates to men on February 14th. Then, on March 14th, known as White Day, men return the favor. In the Philippines, mass weddings are often held on Valentine's Day, making it the country's most common wedding anniversary. In some countries, Valentine's Day has faced bans or restrictions due to cultural or religious concerns. Love is universal, but how we celebrate it depends on where we stand. Act 11, record-breaking love. In 2013, a Thai couple broke the world record for the longest continuous kiss. 58 hours, 35 minutes, and 58 seconds. Nearly 2.5 days. Romantic or exhausting, you decide. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, if it changed the way you see February 14th, then perhaps Valentine's Day is more than roses and chocolate. Maybe it's a reminder. A reminder that love has survived rituals, empires, poetry, wars, and centuries of change. That something once chaotic became something beautiful. That history, like love, evolves. From ancient streets of Rome, to whispered medieval letters, to the glowing screens of today, the meaning of love has never stayed the same. And maybe that's the point. Whether you celebrate it, ignore it, or wait for the February 15 candy sales, remember this: behind every holiday is a story. Behind every symbol is a transformation. And behind every heart is something deeply human. If you enjoyed this journey into the shocking origins of Valentine's Day, like, subscribe, and join me for more stories where history whispers and the past reveals its secrets. Until next time.